Maybe 3 years ago, 2017, I heard the news about this challenge game, which consisted of 50 challenges, 50 days, and at the end of the challenges, the last challenge should be to kill yourself. And there was the news that a lot of the game was being blamed for the death of teenagers all over the world, Mexico, Colombia, Europe, in Egypt, I heard about it. And what really caught my attention was that we were blaming a game for the suicide, and maybe we should be blaming ourselves for not giving these kids a better life so they don't have to think about killing themselves, because that decision, I mean, that's a very huge decision to kill yourself. So I don't think that a game gives you the idea. The idea precedes the game, and maybe the game is just an excuse to make it more intense. But at the end of the day, the idea to kill yourself comes before the game. Comes because you have an awful life, because your parents were not watchful, because genetic reasons, we don't know. Okay, so I heard about this game, I investigated the game, I saw the challenges, and when I saw there's one challenge that has to do with meeting another blue whale. So that gave me the idea to start the film while two people are doing this challenge, and they meet each other and they start playing the game to see if they complete the final challenge together. Basically, that's the idea. The subject interested me because I think that teenagers feel things very strongly and very intensely. And I think that when kids are sad, you have to be more watchful because the sadness is very intense. And now with social media and everything, there's a lot of people connecting with other people who are alike. So this can be very explosive, because if you're a sad, melancholic kid and you try to communicate with somebody, the chances that the person who connects with you will be more like you, no? So you're going to have like a lot of sadness amplified with social media. And I wanted to talk about kids. I wanted to talk about, let's not blame these games or contents or whatever for this kind of behavior. So maybe there are other reasons. If you see the film, you see that I did two profiles, two characters. One of them is filled with a lot of backstory. So you know exactly what's going on in this person's head, what happened to this person, so she or he had to decide what she wants to do. And the other character is a complete mystery. That's another profile. That's the kind of, I wanted to exemplify these kids that you see them, and when you see them, they're gloomy or they're sad, but you don't know what's happening with them. And then one day they kill themselves, and everybody's like, what happened with him? Well, he was a little bit quiet. So we have to be very watchful for these two kind of profiles. Some are very obvious. There's a lot of story and you can do something about it. And some are not. Some maybe because, I don't know, I'm not a psychologist, but it could be some kind of depressive character. We don't know. So you have to be very watchful because sometimes it's not that obvious. Yes, I don't want to spoil anything, but I'll try to be very reserved. If you remember the cases where this happens, one of them is a byproduct of another challenge. It's like an accident. And the other one, there are two readings to it. One of the readings would be that when you decide that life is not something valuable for yourself, it's not valuable for anyone. It's just something that is not priceless, as we would think about it. And the other thing is, I don't want to spoil anything, but sometimes this is the other face of the reason why there's this kind of behavior. Sometimes, and this is for the people who do evil. When you ruin somebody's life, it has consequences. And maybe it can have fatal consequences. I'm not going to say anything else. Yes, I wanted, well, it has like a lot of readings. One of them is aesthetic. I wanted always to see both of them. My two whales are always connected, even when they are separated. So you always see them together, together. That's one. Two, if you remember, there are some characters you never see. The parents, mostly the parents and the school authorities. These are people that we, with our two characters, decided to get out of our lives. You are not part of our lives. You decided not to be there where you're not gonna be there. We are in our game. We are in this together. We only care for each other, but we don't care about you. And we assume the same position with them. We are all with them in this kind of bubble that makes the game and only the game. And there's a third reading that says that people who should be present in your life are not that present. They are absences. They talk, they give you advice, but they should be more present. So that will be the second reading about it. Okay, what I did is I made some research to see questionnaires, and I found there's a lot of questionnaires with very naive questions and very obvious questions. The thing what I did is I make a mix of a lot of these statements. They were basically phrased in terms of questions. So I would like, Katie, do you have impulses to do these kind of things or not? And you would say yes or no. And what I did, I make a mix of these questions and I turn them into affirmations, into statements, so that I could analyze, to make you respond as if you were not you. And so you were talking about somebody else. I thought it was more dramatic. Katie is a happy person. Katie, you understand? Kate doesn't have any problem. So you're talking about somebody else and you are trying to build this nice person through your answers about false and true. That's what I wanted to do. I would really like for parents to see the film. I hope parents could see it, because there's a message to them that they should be very watchful, that we are responsible for our kids, that sadness is a very dangerous emotion. Love is a very dangerous emotion. And sometimes when they blend together, they could be a very powerful force that can lead you either to destruction or to salvation. We have to see. But the problem is very complex, and we have to be very, very watchful if we want to take care of our kids. I mean, the period of teenagers is not very long. If they pass that hurdle, it's okay. They will be fine. But we have to be very watchful, not only about social media, but also about who we let in our household, who we let to come close to our kids. That's a huge problem also, that can take you to think that life is not worth it.